Okay. Oopsie. Ooh. Well, needed some fresh air. I don't know if I'll buy these apples again. I mean, I think apples should go bad at some point. And this apple, I have bought it. I have bought it for like a week and it hasn't gone bad. And you know, I don't like food that doesn't go bad. Yeah, can you hear me? I wasn't, and something went wrong with that live stream. I know you guys kept telling me it's the mute button. You don't think like a goddamn know where a mute button is? It wasn't working. It's GMO, right? I'm like, this fucking shit is not going bad. It's been here for a week and I haven't even seen it like get like, I think it only has this one brown spot, just one brown spot. And for me, what I know about food, if bacteria don't want to eat your food, like if the ants don't want to come near that food, that shit is bad. Because ants, they are all about protecting the queen. Like uh, you could have seen a wig on Temu for $4. I mean, if you tell me good wigs that are for $4, let me know. I'm all about like free, like low cheap wigs. So you tell me. Um, so anyway, like this shit is not going bad. I will not buy these apples. Like if you see ants and bacteria not going to eat something, is because if they took that thing to their ant hill or whatever they have their queen, it would kill the queen or it could kill the colony. And so they never ever eat anything or take anything that could harm the queen or the ants. So if they're not eating it, it's something to tell you that if ants are not eating any shit like this or making it go bad or bacteria even don't want to eat it, that shit's poisonous. I tell you. Like that's how I know things, because like you see how like if you have like an avocado, like ants will go and eat that avocado, you know, like ants will eat anything that's good. They'll, you know, one of the things that they even eat, um oh thanks, I didn't know you shop on like Temu. I don't know, I've never shopped on Temu. I also don't shop on TikTok shop because I don't know, I don't trust TikTok shop, and I don't shop at Temu. I don't know what they sell over there. um Yeah, I don't know what you buy. Um, yeah, maybe I will go on Temu and look for $4 wigs. I mean, I could probably buy those $4 wigs and resell them. That would be a good deal. Um, what else? Um, so anyway, okay. I wear bonnets in public. Yes, I do. I do whatever I want. I don't, I will wear a bonnet in public. I will wear a wig. I will wear my natural hair. I will wear whatever I want. Like, my life is not about pleasing anybody. When you get to my age, you get to do whatever the fuck you want, and I'll give a fuck. You know, you get to do shit, and I'll give a fuck. When you pay your bills, when you pay your bills, you get to do whatever the heck you want. It's your bills. It's your life. You live free. You live free. Yeah. Let them come, because I want my hours to go up. And I gotta keep somebody busy here for my hours on my channel to go up. Beginnings are difficult. Beginnings are difficult. Don't think they are easy. Sometimes you need haters, and it's a good thing to need. Sometimes your haters will be your biggest supporters. You think it's a joke? People who love you sometimes don't even support you as much as your haters. It's the real, it's the world we are living in. Because I noticed that clickbaits, like people are baited with clicks. Something that makes you emotional is what you're likely to click on the internet, because it's putting in a strong emotion. That's what we click on. It is, I don't allow them to control my channel. Everything I say, I am responsible for everything 100%. If I choose to respond to somebody, it's because I made that decision. And sometimes it's good to entertain it, but it's not good to entertain it all the time. And I get what you're saying. It's not good to entertain it all the time. But if we totally don't have a conversation, then we become people who just don't have a conversation. We become people who don't communicate with each other. Um, so I know that, even though I know that whatever I'm saying is not really something that should trigger people, I know some people will get triggered. Um, And people just get triggered because you choose your life, you choose to be happy, you choose not to look for them for approval, for validation, uh, like you choose your own path. People will get triggered for that. Oh well, there are people who want to join. Oh, that's sad. Okay, now thanks for that very constructive feedback. I appreciate it. Sometimes the people, you know, if somebody wants to join in the conversation, then I feel that that's the person who is interested in the conversation. But maybe somebody is not a troll, but they are not contributing to the conversation, which those are the people that I like to help. Like I like to have those constructive conversations. But the people who have something constructive to say, they have to join in the conversation. Otherwise, their silence makes the trolls have the say, you know. And funny because that's how most people who are educated, they think that they don't have to say anything. But guess what, they leave it to the trolls, and guess what, they win. That's how the trolls won this election. Because the people who think that they are too educated or too good to talk, too good to voice their opinions, then they give up their power to the trolls. And I think that's sad. Hi, Santosh. Hello, love. Oh, the US election. The election in the United States. I'm from Africa, an African queen. Where are you from, Santosh? It's such a nice day. Like I like when the sun is out. Oh, you're from India. I get a lot of people from India in my channel, coming to my channel. And then a lot of Indians think I'm Indian too. I have had Indians on my channel trying to talk to me in Hindi or an Indian language, and I didn't understand it. And they didn't understand that I am African. I don't understand it. They think I was faking it, and I wasn't faking it. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying everybody who voted for Trump is a troll. Okay, let me just make that clear. I just think most everybody that voted for Trump and we disagree on almost everything. That doesn't make them a troll. But we fundamentally disagree on the way that we see the world and the way that we think. And that's huge. Um, yeah. Um, and it's a lot. It's a lot that we disagree on. And I just don't understand how people can vote for somebody like that. Right here, it's 10 a.m. It's 12 a.m. India is like 2 hours ahead, like 1 hour ahead of California. Mm-mm. 12 a.m. 12 a.m. 12 midnight. 12, you mean 12 midnight? It's either afternoon or midnight. That's how I understand it. You're more than 10 hours behind in India. You're on the next day. Like for you, it's the next day already. It's Sunday for you. For us, it's 10 hours. It's 10 hours. You're like 12 hours ahead. Yeah, in India, you're 12 hours ahead of California, Pacific time. So why did you vote for Trump? Well, I don't know what we agree on, to be honest. I don't know what we agree on. I think we fundamentally like disagree on a lot of things. I, you know, um, I personally disagree with like men making like being the people who make the final decisions in my life. I will never allow a man, whether I'm married to them or not, to fundamentally make final decisions in my life. Um, because I have learned to take 100% responsibility for my life. That is not something I would give up to anybody. Um, we can decide to go with an alternative that he chooses, but I cannot fundamentally allow a man to make 100% decisions about my life all the time. Every single decision I make, I would never ever do that. He can make some decisions, um, some uh, patriarchy. Okay, we do agree. Okay, um, patriarchy. Like that was one thing that I saw, like the way like you said, like when you get married to a man, he should be able to make decisions. I don't like, I cannot. um, we do agree on the abusive male chauvinistic patriarchy. um, I believe it's the job of women to talk about that. If you can only advocate for your own rights, nobody will ever advocate for your rights. Men will never come and advocate for the rights of women. So if women do not like something in society, it's their job to advocate for themselves. Nobody will advocate for them. Um, a lot of men do have a problem with women advocating for themselves. So for me, that's why I'm very comfortable to tell everybody I am a feminist. I will advocate for my rights, and I will advocate for the rights of women and children. You know, uh, a good man will advocate for a woman. A good man will advocate for a woman 100%. But what I have noticed with men personally is that men will not even call each other out. I've witnessed myself in Kenya. I have witnessed a man beating a woman and she has a child she has a child with her, and I have seen men standing, watching, and these men have the physical power to stop it because they are strong enough, just like that other man, and they stand there and they watch it and they do nothing 100%. I have seen it's the women who come and shout and scream and say, don't do this, stop it. Those are the women who stop. So I have seen that men can silence their voice if a woman is being taken advantage of, and they will not do anything about it. Those men that you said that will advocate for women, they are very few and far in between. Their voice is not there. They are almost non-existent, And when you advocate for women as a woman, they call you a feminist. That's why I say I will take the label, because we are in a society, people will give you a label anyway. So I accept I'm a feminist. I will advocate for myself and for other women. Um, yes, yeah, Kosikov, I agree. Men are too preoccupied themselves in their own dominance hierarchy to consider women issues seriously. 100%. 100%. What are you saying that's not right? What's not right? Matthew Wicker Show. You're funny. You are funny. Now you come to my show and then you say that I need to shut up because you need to rest. And you came. I don't even know. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't do handstands though. No, I feel that it's time that as women, yes, okay, thanks. Yeah, okay, now I get what you're saying. You're agreeing with me when I say that it's not right. Men shouldn't stand and watch. Yeah, yeah, or be indifferent according to the rights of, according about women. And I have also seen men encourage each other to beat their wives. I come from Kenya. I've seen it all. I have seen these men. They are saying, Mimi, bibi yangu namchapanga. They say that. They say this in public. They say, me, I beat my wife. She has to be beaten. Like I've heard with my own ears men say these kinds of things, and you might think like, oh, this is childish, this is immature, but it's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. Um, they are teaching each other this way. They are spreading this toxic masculinity as a way to control women. They are doing this in a calculated fashion, in a calculated manner, and when we are advocating for the rights of women, I'm at that age where I am old enough to say things, and to call out the things that I have seen with my own eyes and my own ears, and I am not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to cozy up to patriarchy and not say the things that need to be said. I don't need a rose and I don't need a ring on my finger. That's not what is important for a woman at this time and age. What's important for a woman is that she can determine her own life. Don't ask me about my age. I just say I'm old enough. What about a friend? What are you talking about? What about a friend? What about it? What about it? What about it? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Yeah, you believe it. Yeah, people say this. Yeah, people say those things. Men, they will say those things, and 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 they think it's okay. They want to normalize, like people who say those things, like, oh, I beat my wife. They want to normalize the abuse. They want it to be normal and okay, like to be, you know, what I also don't normalize is the beating of children. When you go home, whether you're a woman, a man, or a wife, when you're going home, you're going to, in your idea, you're thinking, I'm going home to a nice, safe place where I can lay down, I can relax, and I can gather myself and then go out in the world, either go to school, do business, make friends, create an opportunity. So to be coming home, whether you're a man, a woman, and a child, and to be beaten and abused, and for somebody to shout at you, for somebody to take away your peace, is not fair. It's not fair. It is not, it should not be acceptable to anybody. It should not be acceptable. So women need to be at peace at home. Children need to be at peace at home. Men need to be at peace at home. You know, just because you have more physical strength doesn't mean that now we should all bow down to you and give you everything, because now we are intimidated that you're going to use your physical power to abuse us. So guess what most women do? They cozy up to patriarchy. I've had women say that they will feed their man first before they feed their children. The reason that you would be feeding your man before you feed your children is because you're afraid. Because leaders eat last. Leaders eat last. That's the only reason. Who feeds themselves before they feed their children? Who feeds a man before they feed their children? Only a woman who is deathly afraid of violence. It shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. I have to come here because I need to charge my phone. So I got into the house. Most women live in fear because the partner that they have intimidates them. Yeah. They live in fear because the partner that they have intimidates them. That's why they are not able to speak up their mind. They are not able to live up to their potential. So that is why I'm a feminist. Sorry, my house is kind of messy because I need to clean it up. Mining says weak people feed others before they feed their children. I mean, it's just a natural instinct to want to feed your children first. How would I be feeding you first before I feed my children? Who else am I to feed in this planet first before I feed my children? Nobody. Like, to be honest. To be honest. If I had children, I'm not, they're coming number one. People say like, oh, my man, oh, my children, my children. I guarantee you that would never change my natural instincts. The only reason I would put you first is because I'm afraid that you might harm my children, and I'm doing it as a defense mechanism to protect them. But in my hearts of hearts, why would I ever put a man ahead of my children? Why would anybody expect that I would put them ahead of my children? Are they cuckoos? I do agree. Like, if we're talking about things about how to put in a security system in my house, or to put in, you know, things that protect my family, I would rather like the man makes those decisions, because men are very techy. They have a knack for things like security. You know, like especially a man who knows he has to protect his children and his wife, he is usually more, has better instincts about protecting than most women. I'm not saying that women don't know how to protect, but men naturally have that physical strength, and they, when they are about protecting their family, trust me, he will do a better job than you as a woman. And I've seen this 100%. Men are good with those kinds of things. Like, so if I was to make like decisions about protecting the family, those kinds of things, I understand that he has more weight in the matter on those decisions, right? But let's say I understand finances more, just because I went to school or have more experience or have, you know, stuff, then he doesn't make those decisions, because if I understand the stock market better than he does, maybe he wants us to do day trading and I am more of a long-term investor, I am not going to allow that man to make those decisions for me, because I know what I'm talking about, and my understanding makes me understand that he doesn't know what he's talking about. I will not allow myself to be, you know, like, that's why I say, like, whenever a woman is in fear of making decisions that she knows are right, because she has to cozy up to a man's ego, that relationship is not healthy. It's not healthy. Mining is like, I will take everyone's food to feed my family. You better do it in a way that does not expose your family to hatred from other people. You had better be smart about how you gotta do that. People are very, very vengeful. I mean, look at what is happening in American politics right now. The rich are doing exactly what mining would do: take from everyone else to feed their family. They're literally doing that. They are looting the country and harvesting people's efforts and money for their own gain. Like right now, it's so in your face that you can't even pretend. They are going to take away healthcare, take away food stamps, take away everything from other Americans, so that they can use that money. I don't know for what, but it will not be them. It is not helping. You know, it'll be for them. They have insured their businesses. With making sure that they don't bring competition to American businesses where they have the stakes, so that Americans will pay higher prices and the rich will get more money and the middle class will shrink. Like, they're taking from the middle class, the rich are harvesting from the middle class to their own, you know, that is kind of like what mining you're saying. you can take from everyone else. America America is closed. Well, they are doing it. They have the power. You would probably do the same thing if you had the power. I know, probably I'd do the same thing if I had the power. It's cruel, but that's what's happening. Ask. Yeah, self-preservation is a natural instinct. You know, when I was in my political class, they told me there's this theory that was coined by this guy called Hans Morgenthau. And he said, in his theory, he says human beings are selfish. Like, if you want to understand a human being very well, like in realistic way, like if you want to use realism to understand a human being, he says you have to understand that the human being is a selfish entity. They're just selfish. And I know we do altruistic things, we help others, we do all those things, but it's good to understand that human beings are selfish. And it's innate. It's a trait that they cannot shake off. You know, you have to train a human being to be kind, to be compassionate, to be altruistic. That is something that you train, whether you're training them with the word of God or the gospel or some spiritual thing. Like, they have to make an effort to do it. So, and the Bible is always talking about the world. The way the world is naturally is not a safe place. Only people who have trained themselves to be safe people, of who've educated themselves, who have changed their behavior, who have been deliberate, those are the people that you can trust. But you can't go around trusting everybody. Naturally, human beings default to selfishness. And I thought that was a nice way of Hans Morgenthau to look at people, because he told me that I never forget. So yeah, I guess that's why I know, like, when I am dealing with people, yeah, I do expect a level of selfishness, you know, like, I expect that they just want to get their way at the lowest cost. That's it. That's I guess that's why we have things like bargaining. Human nature. Self-preservation is very powerful. Beautiful chocolate, Sanka Heste 6163. Nice to see you. Love you. Welcome to this channel. Mining, what are you talking damn about? What's damn? Collective buying. You know, the most ruthless people in the world for bargaining are the Chinese. Chinese people will bargain and bargain and bargain. They are ruthless. And when you think about why they are ruthless, is China is the most populous place in the world. Like, they have to fight over resources and stuff. They have to negotiate. just naturally, just because you're so many people, you just have to figure out resources, right? um they are good at bargaining. And I think, sometimes we are shaped by our environment. The fact that we are shaped by our environment, the way we think can be shaped by our environment. They are ruthless at bargaining. um Finesse, how are you? Finesse 204, how are you? God bless you, love. Yeah, sometimes your brain is, the survival part of your brain is just shaped by your environment. My name says it's called grifting. MacArthur, I'm African. People think I don't know why people ask me whether I'm Indian. I know people used to ask me whether I'm Ethiopian. I don't know. Are my looks that kind of like different that I might look even Indian? I don't know. You know, let me tell you, I was brought up a Christian. Um, my mom didn't used to go to church, but my older sister used to go to church, so I ended up going to church when I was even before the age of 5, because my older sister, she liked to go to church, so I wanted to go to church. Then my parents died, and I went into a children's home that was Christian. It was called the Spirit of Faith Christian. And there, now I had to attend church every day. When my mom was alive, I didn't have to go to church every day, but in this Christian home, church was every day. So let's say I was a weak Christian. Coming from that environment, I was a very weak Christian. I believe that you pray to God, you're nice, and God makes sure that nothing bad happens to you. Like I believe like that was kind of like the contract that in my head I had with God. Like, I pray, I praise, I go to church, I try to do the right things, and you stop every bad thing from happening to me. We are together. And then my younger brother had a heart problem and he got sick. I prayed to God to help him get better, and he died. And that was the end of me and God. I was like, if you're gonna be doing me like this, you probably don't exist. And I started questioning the Bible. Like, okay, let's be realistic. If you're taught the Bible, there are things that don't make sense. Like, I was like, the virgin birth did not exist. No way, no fucking way Mary has a baby. We all know how babies are made. And I started questioning the Bible. Like, there is no virgin birth. Like, I was like, doesn't exist. Like, this is like stories that people say that don't make sense, that defy, the natural order of things on this planet. Like, la la la, I don't believe this. So I started questioning religion. Like, nobody can walk on water, nobody can walk on water, blah 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 blah, things that don't make sense to me. And as I went to college and as I learned to think, I started really questioning the validity of the Bible. Is this just a story, mythical things? Let me stop there first. Let me see what you guys are saying. Gaming says, my condolences. Too much of anything can make you sway away from anything. Listen, what if that person what God needed to bring him to heaven? I was like, BS, like, do not lose your. So anyway, I did not understand that. And as I started like And then, being a teenager without parents, and then your brother dying, and then, kind of like, then I left the children's home. And for my first time, I was kind of like homeless because I don't have parents. I don't have a place to go. So, I mean, I was staying with some of my friends here and there, but I didn't have like any stability place that I had for myself. So, that's the point where I was like, God does not exist. If he exists, he must be one cruel motherfucker that just wants to mess up my life, not protect my parents, not protect my brother, not protect me. And so why am I even listening to anybody, going to church, going to this, going to that? And so, like, religion did not make sense to me at all. And I was like, I don't need this God thing. It's not working out for me. And I think for the next 15 years, I just kind of like zoned out the noise that I hear Christians say, because like Christians kind of like say a lot of things that can feel like noise to you. And so I just started, for me, learning about mental health. Like, I took a scientific approach and started learning about the nervous system and health. And I think that's when I started understanding mental health. And that's when I started understanding religion and the part that it plays in somebody's mental health. And I started seeing how when I don't have, okay, I started seeing religion and God and the part those teachings play in my life. For example, I did not have a parent growing up, but the Bible was a very good substitute for me to have a father. In my mind, I wasn't an orphan because I had an anchor that took the place of a physical dad. It's really never what is physical there. The life is not physical. It's really what is in your mind, what anchors you in your mind. So it doesn't matter that I didn't have a mother and a father in the physical sense, but in my mind, because I had grown up being taught about God, I still believed I have a father. I wasn't homeless. I was angry with him, but in my mind, there is God and I'm angry. We don't have a good relationship. That was where it was, you know. And the voice of God was still very clear. Do not do this. Do not do that. Do not do this. Do not do that. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I think in the end, that was the voice that made me create a good life for myself. It was that voice of God telling me, don't do this, don't do that. So even if I was young and I didn't have parents and I was going through motions of life and problems that every other orphan person can have, there are things that saved me. I did not like drinking. I did not like having sex. I did not get sick. There are things that like just saved me from making bad choices in my life. And those came from the teachings of the Bible, because that was the only voice I had guiding me. I didn't have parents guiding me in my life. And when I realized that, that's when I understand the voice of God is real. Like now that I understand mental health, and I know a lot of people get poor mental health because of the choices that they make when they are angry, when they are desperate, when things are not going well, they start drinking, they start sleeping around, they get sick, when I understand that downward spiral, how it happens, and I see the voice of God, whether I was angry with him, whether I did not believe in the virgin birth, when I do not believe in walking on water, now I see that I walked on water. I could have drowned in my situation. I could have easily drowned. My life could have easily gone south. But because I still was raised as a Christian and I still had the voice of God in my life, I literally walked on water. It helped me rise above my circumstances. I don't know how, but those are things that make me go like, make me think about when the Bible says that when you are saved, Christ will go to the ends of the earth to to redeem you even when you go wrong. I'm not saying I never made mistakes. I just said that there was some redeeming qualities that the voice of God always made me not go way too far, you know? Like I, you know, like the voice of God was the anchor that made me like, oh, there's fire there. Oops, oops, you know, until I got myself into a place where I feel like I got a mature mind and I understood my way. So that's my life. Let's go at your comments. Let me look at your comments. Let me go back a little bit. Fine saying he was there when bad things happened to me. So you didn't have to go through it alone. Yes, the true word is love yourself the way you loved your brother and your parents, the way God loves you and he wants you to come back. He was always there through the dark and the hard times. Yeah, and you just got upset at him and blamed him. I did. You know, you blame God, and blaming God is not a bad thing. Like you see in the books of the Bible, there are people who who said, like, even Jesus one time asked God, my God, why have you forgotten me? You know, when he felt like the presence of God was away because he was carrying all these sins of the world, he felt that the presence of God was not there, and he lamented like, why have you forgotten me? There is also instances in the book of Psalms where the psalmist is asking God, how long are you going to allow my enemies to tramp over me? Like, when are you going to stop it? You know, it's okay. Like, I got to that point also in my life where I was like, well, if you exist, why are you not showing up for me? You know, Sister Mzungu say, gotta go, but love this chat with you. Glad to hear your story. I subscribed. Love, 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 love. Thanks for subscribing. Give away the blame and head to Jesus and let it all go. He will love you. So I'm not angry. I mean, I grew up, you know, I grew up when I understood mental health and I understood how spirituality, like, and I understand the world. Like, the world is the way it is. It can be cruel, it can be fun, it can be joyful, it can be sad, it can have all these things that color it. But where are you going to spend most of your time? Are you going to spend your time being angry more of the time, or blaming others? Or are you going to spend your time being more grateful, looking for opportunities, creating something better for yourself? Where are you going to spend most of your time? You know, because that will shape your mindset and the way you think and the way you color your world. And I understand now that I understood mental health, and I understand what you focus on is what you become, how you shape your mind is important. I understand that the Bible is always trying to shape my mind. It's always trying to help me see clearer, see better, make choices that are going to bring more light into my life. It's not promising me that I will not have problems. The Bible never promises you will not have problems. It tells you, even if you walk through the valley of the shadows of death, it tells you there is a valley that is surrounded by shadows of death. But it tells you God is with you even at that time. But it never promises you that there will not be valley of the shadows of death. It tells you there is that valley. God never made promises with me. Never told me that your family will not die, because I live in an existence under the sun where death exists. He never told me that your parents will not die or your brother will not die. He never promised any of that. But he did promise that he's going to be with me. That's the promise. I was just a little bit confused about, you know, what it meant. I understand now. I know God never stops loving you. I do understand that now. Yeah, I still, trust me, there's a lot I don't know about spirituality, about because Jesus' life was very prophetic. He's, Jesus, even Islam said Jesus was a prophet. His life is prophetic, 100%. Jesus' life, everything is symbolic, just like a prophet's life would be symbolic. He has that quality of being a prophet. When Jesus walks on water, is symbolic of how you can walk on water instead of drowning on in life, places where you should not actually survive. You actually rise and survive. When Jesus dies and then comes back alive, it's very symbolic. Like when you plant a seed into the ground, it has to disintegrate and then something has to grow out of it. Also, yourself, like in your life is very prophetic. When you're going through something very difficult and you feel like you're dying, that is when something else is being birthed. His life was that way. It's kind of like his entire life is symbolic. It's not just his teachings and his words and what he said. You have to look at his entire life as being symbolic. When Jesus when Jesus is born, he is born into pure poverty. There is nothing about him that says about his greatness, ever. Never. Nothing says like this is the highest being like that will ever walk on this planet. Nothing says anything about that. He is born in a manger. He doesn't have a bed, somewhere to stay. Mary was rejected. She was giving birth in very, very bad conditions. You can imagine a woman in labor doesn't have a place to give birth. Doesn't have a place to give birth. She is being sent away from place. We don't have a place. She has to give birth in a place where animals are there. The poverty, the level of poverty that she has to go through, the pain, you bringing in your child and you're looking at the circumstances and the child is born in a manger. Like all of us women, we try not to have those desperate conditions where we are giving birth to children. He was born in those conditions and he became the highest being that walked on this planet. That tells you about the mind of God. The mind of God doesn't see money and prestige. It goes down to humility. God decided this child that's born in a manger, that child, that's the one I have chosen. That child that everybody want to kill, people are after him. He let people with stars guide them to that child. I don't know how they heard about that child. Maybe they heard that there was this child that was born in a manger and they could not believe it. And then they saw even the stars coming, following that child to protect that child. You never know. Like your circumstances can provoke, for me, what I know, your circumstances can provoke the love and patience and protection of God over your life in a way that people cannot understand. Like God can be provoked into protecting you. Divine protection can be provoked. God can see your circumstances and decide that whatever it is, he's going to rise above everything. You remember Jesus, his whole life was suffering. He was killed, whole life suffering. You're born in very difficult circumstances and then you end up being crucified, like one of the most painful deaths, and you haven't done anything wrong to anybody. Just like that. And you understand that life is suffering, and God does not guarantee you that you're not going to suffer. He just guarantees that he's going to be with you. And And some of you be like, is that enough? Well, that's all there is. um, I don't know. So. Finesse is saying, give all those feelings of drowning to him. Um, walk with him. He is your heart. So you don't go to church anymore, or what, cutie? Good evening, Sasa. Good evening from Netherlands. Love to see you. No, like there is, for me, I noticed that there is a fortitude that comes with a peace of mind. Like, I know some people are very logical and they don't see the place of God, and I know a lot of Christians, the way they talk, they make Christianity look like a joke. You know, you can say you love God and then you go ahead and vote for a pedophile to be in president. You know, it looks like a joke. And then you say you're a Christian. For other people, be like, what do you guys really believe in? Um, just because your heart and what you believe in must match your mind and your actions. And for so many Christians, there's a disconnect. I'm sorry to say it. I'll be the one to say it. I speak up my mind, and you can disagree with me. We don't have to agree on things, but I say what it is. I feel like a lot of Christians don't practice what they preach. Um, because if you did, you wouldn't vote somebody who has raped women and being a pedophile into becoming a president. You just would not do such a thing. You wouldn't. It's not a Christian thing to do. We are supposed to bring the kingdom of God onto this planet, and that's not how you do it. It's just not how you do it. Um, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Um, Otherwise, I'll blab by myself. Yeah, but it's good to take these things off my chest. Philly says, I think I'm hungry. You're waiting for food. What did you order? What did you order? Yeah, you know, we are all here. If you would want to promote my business, go to posttraumaticbliss.com. I have a class. It's for mental health. It's only $49.99. I don't charge $4,500, you know, like all these other coaching, you know. I know there are coaches who charge very high prices. But mine is $49.99. Feel free to get that class and, you know, get the coaching if you need some coaching, or you need to help with your mental health to understand things in a deeper level, spiritual, mental. I have my class. That would be like the class that I hoped I had when I was younger, you know, because I went through a lot, and I wish I had known some of these things before. Yeah, you can promote me. If you really don't have money, I can offer it for you for free. If you don't have the money and you need help, I know some of you don't probably have the money. You know, but I still I wanna help people. It's not just that. I know struggling with mental health is probably one of the biggest things that many people do in silence. And, you know, we want to end suffering for human beings. It's not fun that people go through these things. So if you, you know, if you can afford $49.99 if you can afford to skip Starbucks for a few days and get the money and, help yourself. I made this class accessible for people even around the world. That's why I don't charge 4,500, like 3,500, like most people do on here in the US. Most of the coaches offering these types of coaching, they charge 4,500. Most people around the world who need it, they can afford that. That's why I make it cheaper, because if somebody had helped me with a cheaper class when I was younger, they could have helped me a lot. But I didn't have that. Mac delivery, that's what you're eating. Stay away from Mac food. McDonald's. Eat vegetables. Philly. Eat veggies. Yeah. So where if you don't have money completely to get money to help you for mental health, grab the Bible and read the Bible for yourself. Don't go to these confusing churches. Read the Bible for yourself. That's the advice I'd give somebody who says that they don't have money to afford like a therapist or to afford counseling or coaching. If you wanted something for free that actually is going to work for you and give you solid good advice, the Bible can do it, but only if you have an understanding that you are going to be obedient. There is no need for you to go seek advice and not follow the advice. If you want God to give you advice, then you have to be obedient. Like if the Bible says do not steal, then don't steal. It sounds like whatever. I know that we shouldn't be stealing. We should be working for ourselves. Have you thought about when you're having sex out of marriage that you're stealing? You're stealing something that does not belong to you. And you're using something that does not belong to you. Have you even thought about that? No, you probably haven't thought about it that way. That is a kind of stealing. It's adulterous and it's stealing. And there's a reason why God says these things. Is because He would want kids to be raised in a good way by people who are intentional about bringing life on the planet. That people who want to work together. So the Bible does help. It's a good tool, but only if you use wisdom to understand it. Not like the way I was when I was immature, like getting angry that life is not going my way and now I'm angry with God that things are not working out the way I want them to work out. That is an immature way when you're like, God, I prayed and I did all these good things. Like, then why did my child die? Or why did my parents die? Or why did my brother die? You will have a hard time understanding the Bible if that's kind of where you're coming from. That's a very immature way of understanding things. You would have to grow up very quickly. And I think some of the reasons why I think Buddhism helped me wake up. Buddhism tells you life is the way it is. Don't debate about the way life is. It is the way it is. People are going to die. People are going to get sick. You're going to get sick. One day you will die. It's a realistic way. It tells you don't wish it any other way because you're going to fool yourself. See the way it is, the writing on the wall, and accept things as they are. The hard realities of life, you have to accept them the way they are. Now, when bad things happen, you just ask God for help to strengthen you emotionally and physically and your mentally, because some of things can happen. They can be very, very difficult to deal with. For example, if you lose a child, that's a very, very difficult something to deal with. You can even lose your mind. You can go into a state of depression. Nobody can guarantee you that those things will not happen. Life is very tough, and I pray for my heart every day, because there are things that your heart cannot take. There are people who faint when they're given very bad news. There are people who die on the spot when they're given bad news. You've had parents who have lost their child and then they die the next day because their heart cannot take it. And that's why you pray, because there are things that are difficult for the heart to take, with the realities of life. That's why you have to fortify your way of thinking with the mind of God. Finding solace in the Word of God, finding comfort in the mind of God, in the Word of God. Sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes you just have to believe that my child has died and they're in a good place. That's the only thought that can give you comfort, that they're with God. They've gone back to the Creator. They've gone back to the source, which is very true, which is 100% true. But if you don't believe in God, you might be like, if you don't believe that they're going back to God, to the source of creation, to the source of all goodness, they're really going to another realm that is way much better than this one. Like over 1 billion times over better than the kind of life we live with. People who die and they go back to the source, they're going to the source of all happiness, of all love. They feel zero pain. They feel they are in a very good place. Like you would want to go there. But if you don't know that, if you don't believe that, you can have no consolation. You can have zero consolation, and you could die from the heartbreak and the pain. But it's the Word of God that heals you. That assurance, that knowing, that's the source that helps you heal. To know that they are better, and it's going to be okay. And that is where mental health comes in. That is where spirituality and mental health, they are like this. That is where you find spirituality, like things like that. And that's just one example. Things like that is where spirituality and mental health, they are close like this. Because you can find even comfort in situations that would break people down. Your spiritual life can be the anchor. I was reading about this book about an American soldier. They were fighting their war in Japan. And their aircraft had disintegrated in the ocean. And so they were floating for months, for days, I think some weeks. They were floating around, and some people, they died. Some of the people that the aircraft kind of like, the plane crash happened in the water. And so they were able to float for some time. But the people who didn't make it, the people who ended up drinking the water from the ocean and becoming delusional and dying, they were the people who had no faith. They were the people who had no faith in God. And that belief that God is with you when you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that belief can keep you alive when others around you are so weak that they are drinking salt water and poisoning themselves. Those people were the ones who were saved. When rescue came, the people who had faith in God were the ones who were alive. Because remember when the Bible says a man cannot live by bread alone, but the words that proceed from the mouth of God, those ones you cannot live without. When it's a matter of life and death, and you need your spirit, that's when spirituality meets mental health. Dakotak 766, happy birthday to your little brother Hugh Janus. Love, love. Happy birthday, Hugh Janus. May God bless you and give you a long life. Hi, Dubusan. Hello, my love. Yes. So spirituality can really help you in life. Don't underestimate the power of mental health and spiritual life. Mental health goes hand in hand with a spiritual life. That's why everything is spiritual, because your mental health is number one. And if your spiritual life is influencing your mental health, it means it's influencing the most important aspect of your life, your whole nervous system. And if it's influencing your nervous system, it's influencing your body and your health. And then it's in turn influencing your relationship, your finances, and your wealth, your health, everything. Everything. There is no separation. There is no separation. So if you want to know what all the gurus are trying to say, they're saying everything is one, is a whole. You can't separate yourself from the whole. And that begins with your spiritual life and your mental health. And then everything else is added into that package. That's why I teach post-traumatic bliss, because the bliss part is the most important. The body can live in a blissful state even after trauma, but it takes wisdom to understand how to live your life in a way that you don't keep traumatizing your life, and in a way that you make your life to be a life that gives birth to things that are fruitful. Your life can be fruitful. You can keep giving birth to beautiful things in your life, or you can keep giving birth to negative experiences in your life. It's just the way you decide to shape your life. And your spiritual practice is the birthplace of all these experiences. So you have to understand, like, am I living my life in a spiritual way that I am enabling it to give birth to things? You know, am I informing my mind and my heart and my behaviors and my habits in a way that enables me to keep giving birth to beautiful things in my life? Or am I having the same struggles over and over and over, like this ongoing cycle of karma that you're not able to get out of? Because your spiritual life informs your behavior, your habits, everything that you do. For example, a lot of people, and I don't know if you've been in a dating site, you see people, they are looking for casual relationships. That's all they want. But for example, if you're, like, let's say a good Christian, I'm not saying the fake ones, like a good Christian, you understand there is nothing in Christianity that says you should have casual sex or casual relationship, because that is considered like a sin. Because that kind of casual sex does not breed anything fruitful in anybody's life. It's a waste of time, a waste of good seed, a waste of energy, a waste of reproduction. That is why people who know what they're doing with their life, they are not out there having casual sex. because they know what they're doing with their life. They don't want to keep giving birth in a cycle of poverty, in a cycle of no direction, in a cycle of, like anything goes. They stopped that because their spiritual life tells them, do not go that way. Don't let yourself to go that way, right? And you think like those are small things, but those things, they are everything. They are everything. Literally everything. And that's why, like, if you have a spiritual practice and you, especially Christians, they have very good teachings, but most of them, they don't practice it. We practice it half-heartedly, like whatever we think we want at the moment, we practice and then we don't. That is like being a pagan. That is like being a non-believer. Because if you believe in the path, you believe that this path is giving you the right direction, then you trust the path and then you walk the path and you believe that that path is going to take you to a good place, then you trust the path. But most people don't trust the path. They don't trust it. They think it's a lie. They think it's something that maybe I do it today, then tomorrow I go back to casual sex, like stuff like that. But you're called to be obedient and to trust that path, that so that you get yourself out of the cycle of just making wrong decisions in your life. That wheel of karma that keeps revolving until you decide, oh, I'm not going to keep making these mistakes, so that I get off the wheel and I find stability. But a lot of people like this wheel. Bad decision, heartbreaks, messy finances, blah, blah, blah. You can decide to be in that path, or you can decide to clear that away and practice like solid spirituality with your actions, aligning with your beliefs and your heart and your boundaries. Like, it's not that hard once you get it. It's really not that hard once you get it. But when you don't get it, life is that mess, one mess over another, over another, over another. But once you decide, like, hey, I'm not gonna mess up my life anymore. I'm going to have better boundaries about my sexuality, my body, about my money, about my relationships. Like, it's not that hard, but it comes from a deep understanding of the wisdom that comes from the voice of God telling you, do not do this. This is not something that God is compromising or is on the fence with. It's just a matter of don't do it. Right now, I'm in a state of depression because I thought you could buy love or relationship. But I think you're in a good position because you have learned something. Like, what was the point of awakening for you? What was the point where you came to realize, oh, I cannot buy this? For me, when you say that kind of a thing, my biggest thing is like, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Because we buy things that we don't have. You go to buy food when you don't have food in your freezer. You go to buy water when you have land, when you don't have more water. You go to buy love when you think you don't have love. So do you love yourself? I guess probably that's the question I'd ask. Light veil, please, what's the currency? Tell us. We want to know, what's the currency to buy love and relationship? What is the currency? I love that way of thinking. you know, maybe it's to be kind to people, generous, nice to people, you know, because money is not the currency. Hi, Jivunian, is that how you say your name? Hello, hello, love. There is, it's a, exactly. There is not enough money to buy love. And Lightville saying, love is a spiritual currency, right? If you don't have a spiritual life, you will not understand love. Yehunian. Yehunian? Okay, Yehunian. 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 What language is that? The G is like yay. And the oh, the G is silent. Ah, I didn't know. I don't know about. Yeah, that's very exotic for me. It's a very exotic language. I don't know how to use my love at use it and use it for granted. You know, I think my greatest lesson about love was really knowing how to love myself, you know, how to appreciate myself more, how to be kind to myself. And this is a practice. This is something that you will have to practice every day until your mind understands what self-love is. And if you want to understand how to love yourself, okay, easily read the Bible and understand the length of love that God has for you. Like, I stopped blaming myself for things when I understood the love of God. Like God says, as far as the east is from the west, that is the greatest distance that you can ever calculate, how far the east is from the west. He says that's how he forgets your sins. Like once you repent, he forgets them. And you know, it took me a long time. It took me a long time to understand the kind of grace, the level of grace that I should give myself. If God can love me that much, that's the standard I should aspire to. It means that any day I'm giving myself grace. I am graceful with myself. I'm giving myself the benefit of the doubt to learn from my mistakes, to learn. Maybe you now understand that there's no amount of love that you can buy with money. Now that's a good lesson that you have learned. Now, how are you going to move on from there with grace, with love, with more patience towards yourself, with more trying to understand how to love yourself? Those are the most important decisions that you will make from them. Yehonian means place of dwelling, to live, dwell, remain in a place or a state of mind, and so on. Wow. It means homeostasis, balance. You know, I always like use that homeostasis and balance as an anchor in my subconscious mind. And I think probably that's what you mean, like Yehunian, a stable place in your mind. I call it balance. I call it homeostasis. Some people call it stillness, calm, you know, like that stillness, because that's where our whole mental health and well-being begins, it begins from that place of homeostasis, of balance, you know, that Yehunian place. uh, Mental health, that's the bedrock. Being well, being well, that's that's balance, homeostasis. That's the place you start with mental health. If you're thinking that, if you're feeling like you have to fight something, that you're lacking something, that you gotta find something, that you're not whole, you're not well, that is not enough, nothing breeds in that state of mind. The state of mind where you want to begin, the very genesis, is when God says, and it was good. That's the genesis. It was good. He created it and it was good. You have to start from the place in your heart where it is good. You're not chasing, you're not fighting, you're not, you know, in survival mode. You have to start in the state of mind where it is good. It is well. It is good. You know, that's the place where we start, where we are not buying love. We love ourselves from a place of wholeness, homeostasis, balance. When you chase love, you kick yourself, you're already out of balance. You've already kicked yourself out of balance. There is no amount of chasing that is going to bring you back to balance. Is when you stop chasing and then you find the balance, and then you move on from that state of wholeness and balance, that Yehunian place. I'm in North America right now. I'm African. Yeah. I like that name, Yehunian. Oh, that one white chromosome says, by listening to you, I am realizing how good your heart. Thanks for this good talk. Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining, and even for acknowledging this talk, because I am passionate about mental health because I struggled with it. The reason I struggled with mental health is because I came from a childhood that was challenging, and I grew up with a lot of anxiety. And I had to understand anxiety so that I can learn to heal my body. And if you know anxiety, anxiety usually attacks your muscles, the body muscles, the muscles in your body. That is where anxiety lives. Um, so if you want calm, it means your muscles in your body, they have to relax. Like, if you want to fight anxiety, it means that you need to relax the muscles in your body. But the muscles in your body are controlled by your nervous system. Your nervous system is controlled by your thoughts and the way you perceive the world. If you perceive the world as a threatening place, your muscles will be tense and anxiety will live in your body. And understanding the nervous system, I always say, if you're struggling with mental health, understand the nervous system. It's not something in your brain. It's not in your brain. It's your whole nervous system. Your brain, your spinal cord, your peripheral nervous system, your muscles, how they work, your limbic system, how it works. You have to understand the body, because the body is sacred. That you must understand. You understand what it means to be in homeostasis, in balance, what that means for the body, for your muscles. Understand that first. Understand how the way you shape your mind and your thoughts affects the way you breathe, the way you move through life, the way you perceive danger, the way you react, because all these things happen in the nervous system are automatic. It's another sense of your brain that you don't control just like that. It's happening automatically for you. And the only way that you can be at the driver's seat is if you understand how to move this thing. If you understand it, then you will know how to drive. It's like a car. If you don't know what the brakes do, if you don't know what the gear does, if you don't know anything about how to move the car, it will be an enigma for you. The same way with your nervous system. This is a very, very, very big part of you. It's entirely who you are. If you do not understand your nervous system, you will feel like you're going through life and you're not in the driver's seat. You will feel that, and your body will be communicating to you with anxiety and telling you you're still not on the driver's seat. I need you to be in the driver's seat. I need you to know what the heck you're doing. You be on the driver's seat, and you will feel anxiety, and you will feel defensive. You will feel like you don't know where you're going. That is why I have my class, Post-Traumatic Bliss, to help you understand the nervous system, to help you understand how to get out of a trauma state of mind. But when you do that, you start understanding other people, you start understanding yourself. Mining is asking when we are becoming best friends. When are we becoming best friends? We must become best friends. He's like, we must become best friends. Friendship grows over time. I don't know. Friendships require commitment and so many things. I don't know if we are invested in all that. No, but we do share, like we probably share a lot about how we think, which is nice to see that mind connection between people when they understand each other, like how each other thinks. Yeah. Life. I mean, I share these things because there's a reason I take my time to share about the health, the mental health. Just, I don't know why. I am passionate about mental health. I know it's a reason why a lot of people suffer, and why I share about it is because I know there's a lot of bad advice. I have had it. I mean, you guys are on the internet. You know, there is terrible advice out there. You know, why do men think that they can solve every problem by marrying somebody? I'm Kenyan. Well, you have to be friends with people before you marry them. Oh. You have to be friends with people before you marry them. I don't understand like how people, they just marry people that are not their friends. How do you marry somebody who is not your friend? Do you want to die? Do you want to die and live a short life? How do you genuinely marry someone? Hi. Are you looking to die? How do you marry somebody who is not your friend? Like, what do you think is going to... What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, how does that story end? It's quite dangerous if you ask me. And people keep wondering why I am single. How do I marry somebody who's not my friend? And most people are not looking to be your friend. To be honest, most people in this life, let's say for men, they are looking for casual sex. They are not looking to have a relationship and a friendship. Like 90% of men out there, they just want somebody who who wants casual sex. And when you're a woman and you don't want casual sex, that's when you realize that most people cannot have a mature adult relationship. They cannot have a mature adult relationship because most men, they just want to exploit a woman for sex with little cost as possible and with little yeah, they want little. That's why you find that even married men, they are looking for women who are single so that they can have casual sex with, because they it's not based on relationship, it's not a based on friendship, it's just based on exploiting you. And when you're a woman and you realize like sex can be used to exploit you at any age, you close your legs and you don't invite people into your body. And you know additional jargon says I'm pretty, I love. um People are weird. What's my favorite meal? I honestly love taking soups. I love soups, like well done homemade soups are my favorite meal. And then I love green juices. Those are my second favorites. Yeah. Do you experience anxiety since leaving Kenya? My daughter occasionally experiences some of your country's men and has put them in their place. Let me tell you, if you're an educated woman and you're a feminist like me, you have no business dealing with most African and Kenyan men. You have no business. You have no business. You know, I think the only, yeah, you have no business. In Kenya, you will find good men. I'm telling you, when you find a good Kenyan man, he will be a very good Kenyan man. A good one. They provide for you. They never cheat on you. They take care of the children. Good Kenyan men, they cook for their children. They feed them. Like they do. It's like you've won a jackpot. You find like, it's kind of like he's a white man, but he's a black man. Good Kenyan men. Absolutely upstanding. That being said, to find them, very rare. Very rare. Very rare. Yeah, if you're a well-educated woman, you probably not do well. Yeah, because the ones that are bad, they will drag you through the mud. They will drag you through the mud. I'm not lying to you. They will drag you through the mud. They will cheat on you. They will cheat on you. And let me tell you something. There's so much cheating among Black people, whether it's in Africa or here in the US. Some of the states that are leading with herpes and HIV right now are states where there are so many Black people. I'm telling you, when I decided I'm not ever going to have casual sex, I'd rather die never having sex again in my life, I'm okay with that. It's because there are people out there who want to kill you. There are people who are out there, they're going to spread diseases to you. I don't lie. I don't have time. I got to a point in my age where I don't lie. I'm not going to lie and make people look good just because they are black people and I love them and I think they are, you know, they are some of the best people in the world. But most men, black men, are not able to tame their passions. They are not working on taming their passions. They are okay with casual sex. They are okay with so many things. And they are also okay with having sex with men and women. Things are changing. You have to be careful. So I don't have time to put men in their place. I am just not gonna deal with it. You know, I'm just like, if a woman, you cannot be okay being alone and by yourself, like you have to be around men, I think you just expose yourself to more danger. You've got to be okay in this day and age as a woman to live by yourself. uh, Johnson Scott 641, to do you experience, that's what I was answering. uh, I'm staying single for a while. Yehunian, good call. Yeah, yeah, so she might have, I mean, let me tell you, she might have, if she's looking for a black guy, a Kenyan man, I'm not saying she can find one. I'm telling you, like when you find good African men, they are some of the best fathers. Like absolutely. When they are good, oh, it's a jackpot. Like, you know, yeah. When they are good, I'm telling you, I'm promising you, when they are good, oh my gosh, best of the best. To find one. Ooh, to find one. Yehudia says, I like your thinking, post-traumatic bliss. Uh, well, people nowadays get feminism as hating men by considering it toxic. What do you think? I always said uh, okay, I'll say bliss. Um, I don't think I consider myself a feminist because I advocate for the rights of women and young girls. That does not mean that I'm not advocating for the rights of men and boys, because I feel that everybody in society is vulnerable, is vulnerable. But I do recognize that men cannot advocate for the rights of women, because if they did, we would not have young girls being forced to marry at young age or being forced to marry old men. But since it benefits patriarchy, why would men advocate for women? You know, men beat women, they advocate for female violence. I have heard men saying, I beat my wife, I beat my wife, and they are looking for validation from other men for things like that. That is why I am a feminist, because I will advocate for my rights and for the rights of other women, because I feel that women are safer advocating for their rights than when they shut up and let the abuse continue. I think that's dangerous. um, I am here to I will talk about toxic masculinity. I will say I don't stand up for it. I defend a woman's right to think for herself and to make decisions about her reproductive rights, about what hair she's gonna wear, about whatever makeup, whether she wants to wear makeup or not, or whenever she wants to talk or not talk at all. I, I'm there to advocate for those rights, because men will not advocate for your rights as a woman. You had better know that every day when you wake up, that nobody will advocate for your rights better than you advocate for them yourself. You're the one who knows if they matter to you or not. Other people, they don't care. So, in other words, Y chromosome, I don't hate men. I don't have time to hate men. I don't even have the energy. I am here to advocate for myself. And if advocating myself feels like I'm hating you, maybe you're getting triggered because you understand that I'm not going to take any abuse, and that's triggering to you. If advocating for myself triggers you, oh well. Oh, so your daughter is married to a 6'4" Singaporean. Is she happy? Yes. When good people do nothing, when good people stay silent, you know, or even when women stay silent about abuse and they don't call it off, that's when evil prevails. So I will not shut up. I will not shut up. Tell me, call it like I'm hating men. Say whatever you want. I know in my heart of hearts, I don't hate men. I don't hate men, but I'm not going to shut up about advocating for the rights of women. I am not going to shut up about calling off toxic masculinity and male chauvinism. And if you think that that calling me names, you know, whatever, that's going to shut, it's never gonna shut me up. In fact, it's going to fuel the fire for me to speak up. So if you don't want to fuel the fire, by all means, leave me alone. But if you don't leave me alone, the more I'll fight you. Okay. Hmm? Understand what you're dealing with when you deal with feminist women. We will take time out of our day. You know, hell has no fury than a woman scorned. Don't play with a feminist. And men know that. Men know that they can't play with feminist women. That's how tough we are. We shape this planet. Whether you like it or not, we are leaving our mark. Hi? Mining, have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, we will fight our battles. You don't know whether your daughter is happy in her marriage? Oh, wow. Oh, well. Man, that is something else. But I think that's the most genuine answer that you can give, you know? Who knows, honestly, with marriages these days? Nobody knows. Right, right. I like that realistic answer. It's very realistic, you know, some good days, some bad days. You know, people do assume that when they see people's photos on Instagram, that's a reflection of their life. Oh, they've gone on vacation, they are happy, they're jumping from a boat into the ocean. Oh, what a wonderful life. I like to be realistic. You wake up tomorrow, you have back pain. You know, You have to go to work, do your thing, come back home, do your chores. You know, you open the news, it's something terrible sometimes you listen to. I mean, this is kind of like the state of mind that a lot of people live into. Those vacations are not happening every day, they are far in between. And I'm not saying, and that's a beautiful life, you know, it's still a good life. You know, if you can even afford that, you know, if you can afford to go on a vacation, like, you're living a great life, you know. That's not like 90% of the world. So whenever I see these Instagram photos, for me, I take it with a grain of salt. You know, that was a good day. Oh well, I don't know, 90% of the time, I don't know if they are in debt to go on those vacations. I don't know their finances. I'm not gonna assume anything. Sometimes some of those people that you see that they are not going on vacation, like nothing big is happening in their life, some of those are some of the happiest people because they're not showing off, they're not proving anything to anybody. They don't feel the pressure to show off to anybody. They're just being realistic with their lives, like the rest of us, how we are living. Not everybody is in the 1% where they don't have to work and their life is 100% vacation. Now, a lot of people on Instagram, they are trying to copy that life, and they don't have that life, and they are making you feel like your life is somehow bad because, you know, you don't have all these things, you know. You will learn to live your life. You will learn to live your life happily without having to prove anything to anybody or show off to anybody. um, that's where happiness lives. Is where happiness lives. Doing your own thing out there in the universe, not caring, not comparing yourself, because most of that life is fake. Most of those photos that you see that they look almost perfect, they're not that beautiful. It's filters and Photoshop, you know. um, it's not real. um, and they don't have that money that they are showing off that they have. And I'm not jealous. I'm just saying, realistically, they don't have that money. They're just showing off. Um, Nobody's life is glamorous 24/7, you know, unless you're a billionaire. Then you can do that. But also, even as a billionaire, you still have enemies, and you have people who can bring you competition and bring your whatever down. You still have people spying on you. You have to protect yourself all the time, you know. You have to not show off your money and look casual so that you stay safe, you know. So all these people who are showing off is really because they don't have the money, because the real people who have a lot of money, they know that they have to downplay what they have, because if they don't, we will all get jealous and we will try to attack what they have or attack them, you know. You have to really protect yourself when you have that money. Like, you can just go around showing off everything unless you're really good at security, you know. You think if Jeff Bezos was very low on security that people would not attack him? They know he's one of the richest people on the planet. If he was casual about his security, people would hack into Amazon, they would steal his money. There are people hacking his accounts or trying to hack his account every day. Anyways, she's in the top 5% life and still unhappy. who can understand the human heart and its condition. You know, I know people who, like, I admired their life from afar, and like they were living in a farm. They have like they have this beautiful life, kids, animals, you know, you know, they're surrounded by fresh air, and still it wasn't enough for them. And I was like, wow, what does it take for people to be happy? You're not paying rent, you have your own place, um like you you married somebody that you thought you loved, which doesn't happen to a lot of people, you know, to feel that you've married your friend, and people still are unhappy. And I realized, like, hey, if they can have all that thing and not be happy, and I've seen people with less that are happy, honestly, I decided to understand happiness. I decided, because I want to have a happy life. And I understood contentment. Like, you, at some point, you have to tell your brain to be content. To be content with what you have. At some point, if you want to be happy, that's the switch you have to make into your mind. Like, contentment. Like, you're not a billionaire, be content. You're a billionaire, be content. You're in good health, be content. You're in bad health, be content. Sometimes you just have to make that mental switch. Like, in every, you know, remember that Christian song that says, I will be content in every circumstance. You are Jireh. Sometimes you just have to make your mind to just be content. If you want happiness, make that switch. Oh. So your daughter takes you to Kenya because her husband does not like Kenya. So he doesn't have to come. Makes sense. Well, sometimes you get sick of people. You want them to go, or you want to leave them for a while. I don't know. I guess. That is funny. That's so funny. Oh. You know that song that says, how can I miss you if you won't go away? Oh, yeah. Where? Where? Hey, thanks, guys. If you're here, I advocate for women's rights, the rights of children, being happy, being content, you know, caring for yourself. I need a clip. I need something to clip hair. Some hair clip. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to create distance. And I think if you can afford it and, you know, stay away from people, regulate yourself. Sometimes it's just self-regulation. It doesn't mean that you don't love the people you're with. It's just regulating yourself, you know, going away sometimes so that maybe you can miss them. You know, I find that sometimes I watch people with cancer and their stories, and you find that when they are given a timeline, like you have 6 months or 3 months. Hi, Danesh. Hi, love. When they're given a timeline, like you have 1 month to live, 6 months to live, 4 months to live, that they actually really, it something awakens in them, and they find it precious. Like they start finding like their spouse precious, their kids precious, because now they know their life is ending, and it's their time is precious, and everything becomes more intentional. They can see things clearly. That's when they really start to understand life. Hi, Danej from Sweden. I'm from the US. I'm in the US. I'm from Kenya. I guess I'm international. I've been to Sweden. I spent a week, a week or two in Sweden. I went to the capital, Stockholm. I went to Skellefteå. It's a beautiful, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. The northern part of Sweden. Beautiful. Beautiful. I would buy a house there and live there. It's a really, yeah. How do you say Skellefteå? Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Air fresh. I've never seen fresh air like that. The rivers, they were like purity. It was pure water. You could take the water from the river and drink it like that. Fresh. And then they had these wooden saunas. I went there in the cold. Okay, maybe it wasn't that cold. I went around April. I think it was around April that I went. It wasn't March, April. It was around March, April there. It was still a little bit cold. But yeah. I got lost one time in the train, but there was this, I went to the hotel and they showed me how to get to use my trains. And then the Swedish man helped me also get to where I was going. Very kind people. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Sweden. People were nice. Yeah. Then I went to Finland. I liked Finland too. Very young people. Yeah. I like Europe. I've been to Europe a few times, and I think I don't know. I thought that the tickets, the moving around Europe was expensive. The buses, the trains, that was my biggest thing. I thought it was very expensive to just move around. Like, I think in Europe, you have to have a different mindset when you're in Europe than when you're in Africa, and also when you're in America. Like, if you're in Europe, you think a certain way. If you're in the Americas, you think a certain way. If you're in Africa, you think a certain way. I think every place that you go in the world, you have to tap into the way people think. And I think the way people think is, if I would like say the psychology of it, is related to how people move. You know, like in Europe, you have to use the train a lot, you have to walk a lot. So your thinking has to align with that. Here in the US, you drive a lot, and you see a little Americans work a lot, but they're a little bit lazy compared to Europeans, I think, because Europeans have to move. And then in Africa, you know, people have to use public transport a lot, which is sometimes very unreliable because it has to stop and stop and stop and stop and stop and stop everywhere. It's not as reliable as the trains in Europe. Like in Europe, you know, the train is going to move from here to here and it's going to be a definite time. There will be, you know, you can reliably say 1 hour, unless the train is derailed or something happened and it's not going that day. In Africa, you're using these mini buses and they stop at every stop, at every stop, at every stop. It becomes very hard to master your time. So, you know, sometimes you will get late or something will happen. It's so easy. Like if you know, if you've been in Africa, it's easy, and you're using like public transport, you know what I mean. Like the way you're thinking in Europe, the way you're thinking in Africa, and the way you're thinking in the US is different. Like those are the continents that I know very well. I'm sure if I went to Hong Kong or China or Japan, I would see also like maybe similarities. I'm thinking maybe Japan and Europe, there'd be more similarities. My name is Kanini. Yeah, they're very different styles, and I think it's good to tap into the mindset to understand a place psychologically, like the psychology of that place. I think it's good. Hi, Dan. Yeah. Overall, I think, yeah. I liked, I don't know, I didn't stay very much in Europe. Um, when I was in Europe, you know, mostly like as a younger woman, you're thinking about makeup, fashion, clothes, food, you know, small things. But right now, I'm in a state in my mind where I'm older, I'm more thinking about my future, business, stuff like that, like starting a business. Um, I don't know where it's easier to start a business here in the US or in England or Kenya. I think Kenya would be a much easier place to start a business because there are so many other opportunities to exploit. In where I live here in California, it's harder to start a business because of the just everything costs more. But I think it's easier to register your business in California. It's easier to register a business than you would in Kenya. The Kenyan market is not very open. Kenyan market is probably one of the most closed markets that there is out there. It's probably one of the most closed markets in the world. California is not the US. Okay, I can see that. It is part of it, not it. Uh, yeah, I should probably not generalize that way. Um, but it's a leading economy. It's one of the leading economies here, so it feels like it is the event. Of course, I'd leave California. If I can find a better place, I'm going. Oh, they sell perfumes. I mean, they sell shoes, Nikes. If you go to different cities, most of the times though, you will see places where they sell like, okay, this, you go to a typical city and you're walking around a city around here in California, you will see places where they buy clothes, like they sell clothes. There's a lot of clothing out there to buy if you go to a city that you're walking. Then you will find restaurants because people here like to eat out. So restaurants and clothing. Then you will find things like I don't know where you call them, finger rings, like finger rings or things that you can decorate your house with, like like a thrift store, you know, like how thrift stores have like things like just stuff that you can buy, like little stuff you can put in your house, whatever. Bunch of that. um, then there are just services, you know, like beauty services. That's a huge business here in California. Things like Botox, microblading. um, what I use more is like those vitamin stores where you do like hydration, where you do a lot of vitamins coming into your system. I do that a lot. There's the spa, nails, um, generally furniture business, plumbing business, HVAC, electrical business, where, you know, people repair the piping. There's a lot of piping problems in most houses. I don't know why. So there's always like those kind of businesses that are lucrative, you know, service and repair businesses. Boom. um, Beauty businesses, hair, makeup, just normal stuff. I mean, I don't live in Kenya. I'm not going to tell you that I'll be an expert in Kenya. There's a booming housing market in Kenya, so I'm assuming everything that comes with housing, that's that. Construction, housing, HVAC, plumbing, all that. Beauty, all that, because, you know, women and beauty is just goes hand in hand. Kenyan women are beautiful women, so, you know, I guess like you can start a business everywhere. Sometimes I think about a human being, and then think about a body part. Any kind of, like, we have body parts, like our eyes. There's $1 billion industry just catering the human eye, whether it's sunglasses, uh, seeing your doctor, eye drops, makeup, like just that one part of the body. Monetize it. Think about the nose, just the human nose alone, you know. There are people who snore. They can put things to stop snoring. um, there there are people who put earrings on their nose. You can monetize that. You can monetize the nose. um, I don't know, like oxygen. There are people who have to put oxygen masks in the nose or whatever. Just the nose alone can make you billions. The mouth, I think, is one of the most expensive body parts. Teeth cleaning, it's an everyday routine. People do twice a year. You can make money out of it. Teeth whitening, lipstick, you know. It's like the world, you know. Anything. Hair is one of those expensive things. The hair industry for Black women is $1 billion industry alone. Just hair, shampoo, hair conditioning, I don't know, whatever, straightening, like all these things that people have to use to straighten their hair alone. Multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, and I have not even stopped from the going down. We've not talked about bras, underwear, shoes, nails. Like, if you want to go into business, oh God, there's a lot you can do. California is so bad that yeah, you don't even need to tell me. I'm thinking about starting a business, and I'm thinking like, what can I do? Yesterday I was thinking, what if I could go into the perfume business, uh, like making perfume, because you can help people, like, so, like, this is a perfume. that you go into a perfume, you go into a perfume place, like it's like a perfume bar. It's a bar, but they have all these like mixes of perfume, like like so like this one, I made this one. Anyway, it's orange and plumeria. They give you different scents, and it's orange and plumeria. What I like about this is that it's very fresh. It's very fresh. It's kind of, it's also very powering, but it is fresh. Like when I roll it on my clothes, I feel fresh. So I was thinking about going into such a business because I saw them and I was like, oh, this is a good idea. Now, oh really? Where did they go to make perfumes? I thought it was a good business I could get into. Where would I start? If I was to start like a perfume business, you know, what would your daughter advise me to do? I thought it was a good business. I haven't seen a lot of it. I thought, yeah, let me put some lipstick. Brighten my lips a little bit. Yeah, even lipstick. You know, one person told me one time when I was traveling in South Africa, he told me that he made all his money selling makeup brushes. Just the makeup brushes alone made his money. So like with this one, so they have like say a bottle like this, and it has an orange, it has like an orange perfume. Then they have another bottle like this that has plumeria, or it has pink whatever. And then the customer will come and they will try different scents, they will mix different scents, and they're like, oh, do you like that? And so for me, they mixed for me this because I liked this one. It's orange and plumeria. And I did one with pink and vanilla because those were like scents that I liked. And I thought, oh wow. People, that's a beautiful thing for people to do on their own, to mix their own perfumes. Like, okay, so this is the other one that I made. And I really like this one because you see how it looks a little bit pink. This is pink and vanilla. This is slightly less conspicuous, so I like the lightness. But I really liked it, and I thought, this is a good business. I could probably start this one. It looks like it has, apart from the rent, now the rent here is a little bit expensive. Renting a building, like renting a space. Yeah, so people actually do make their own perfume, so you don't make the perfume for people. What's a web shop? Or like drop shipping? Yeah. I have post-traumatic bliss. It's my course where I help people with mental health, because I did that for a passion. So um, if you find somebody who's needed life guidance, ask them to go to post-traumatic bliss. The cost is $49.99. You can support me and learn something about the nervous system and your mental health. I look into the perfume business. I think it can be lucrative. I look at the numbers, or look for one business about perfumes to buy. Get a bank loan, buy a business. Mm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so these fragrances, you kind of mix the ones that you want. So that's why it's kind of like a bar where people smell different fragrances, and they have these coffee beans to make the fragrance kind of like to just freshen their their smell buds, and then they mix, and then you just mix them for them. I thought that was really nice. And I thought, it's perfume. You just put it in a jar and they mix whatever they want. That's just simple. You set up a shop somewhere. Now, you can get inventory, and then you can get a good selection of perfumes, that some of them are earthy, some of them are floral, some of them are fruity. Fruity ones are good. Yeah, fruity, floral, earthy. Yeah, different scents, and people can mix. My name is Kanini. Yeah, because good business is freedom. You know, like we underestimate how much freedom you can get from having a good business, and I want that. I want to do my own thing, my own business, because I work on 8 to 5, 8 to 4. I do HR. I work in HR, and it's nice. It's nice job, but in terms of long-term security, I don't think it can give me that. I have to create something for myself for long-term security. Either buy. I was listening to somebody this morning, and he was saying he made his money by investing in small businesses. So he would take like 10,000, invest in a business, another 20,000, invest in another business. Um, and then he, because when you own a business you get tax write-offs, and then he would get tax write-offs, and then he would use those tax write-offs to invest in multiple businesses, and that's how he made his money. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a good strategy. If you get if you could get like good partners and good businesses that you could do that in, that'd be really nice. Then you can be an owner of businesses, multiple businesses, and hedge yourself. But you need people you can trust, businesses that are good that you can trust. I mean, I think fruity women like fruity and floral. Welcome everybody. Please like, share, subscribe, activate the notification bell to watch more enjoyable content. Yeah, you need money to invest for sure. Yeah, I just want to diversify. You know, what I want is more cash flow. I think cash flow is king, and why not be king? Why not be king? If cash flow is king, right? Right now here in California, I don't know about you, but people are not spending. Yeah, people are not spending here in California. Even I am not spending money because rents here have gone high, very high. Um, and because rents, and you know, the government wants to kick out people from living near the beach so that the people can go more live in the inland where it's inhospitable. So they raised the taxes on rent. So rent skyrocketed, went above, you know, over the roof, so that people can move more inland because they want tech companies to move near the ocean because of the fiber cables, the fiber optics that have to go under the ocean, and not so many people, you know. So pretty much, if you can invest in property near the ocean, you're going to make money because of the fiber optic cables. I'm not married. I'm not married. I haven't met my best friend yet. And if that's not gonna happen, I'd rather stay single than get married to somebody who is not my friend. Mm-mm. I cannot do it. I will not do it. You cannot pay me enough to get married to somebody. Yeah, that's what I started this channel. I have post-traumatic bliss. It's an online course um, that I sell for people who want to get their life together. Sell this course not because I'm in HR. I sell it because as a person who has had to get their life together, their mental health together. So that's why I do it. Mhm. That's why I do it. What do you mean not all Africans have the same phenotype? Nobody has the same phenotype. My LinkedIn. I need to post more on Instagram. I never post a lot. People are born different. Everybody is unique. So I don't group people into one thing. Um, like everybody is different. You have, your DNA is different from everybody else's. Um, we do have, even men and women, we have a lot of DNA in common, but and we have very little between men and women in general. We have very little that makes us different. You know, the only thing that actually makes men and women so different is their hormones. Hormones are probably what makes men men and what makes women men. But after that, everything is probably the same. We have eyes in the same place, nose in the same place, mouth in the same place. Um, Most of us, we are just, human beings are very, very similar. Like we have very, very little things that differentiate us. Um, but all in all, everybody is unique. Everybody is their own person. No, I don't think I will know my man in the first sight, because for me, I don't believe love at first sight. I'm not one of those people who say, I knew it the first time I saw him. I don't think I will. I wouldn't know. Um, but are they a friend, or are they an enemy? Because a lot of people, they get married and they are marrying their enemy. They just don't know, but they don't marry their friend. um, I would rather stay single, because I am my own best friend. um, I would not imagine marrying somebody who is not my friend. um, I cannot. I will not do such things. I would rather stay single. I am my best friend. I don't, you know, a lot of women, they want that ring. They want to get married. They want people to see they are married. I'm like, I'm not in no pressure from nobody to marry anybody. Like, if I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, that's fine. What I don't want, I wouldn't marry somebody who is not my friend. You know how some people, they get married to somebody, and then when you get sick, they cannot even donate blood to you, or they cannot, if they share the same blood type, there are people who would not donate blood to you if you got sick. There are people who would not share you a kidney even if it fit, if you got sick and you married that person. One woman says she got married to a man, and um, and they started a business and they were working together, and they worked together for like 25 years. And this man did the tax paperwork. This man was responsible for doing tax paperwork, and he left her out of the paperwork, so she did not have social security. And they've been doing businesses for 25 years. She married this man, and she had children with this person who left her completely out of social security. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was fucking up her future and using her as a slave, and the IRS could only go back 4 years. So guess what? Those other 21 years, she lost everything, and she didn't have any social security, and she had been working in their business together with him. That happens when you marry just anybody. When you just marry anybody who is not your friend, who has no intention of protecting you, loving you, cherishing you, you know, call me what? Say I need a sponsor every day. I don't fucking care. You know, if you're not my friend, I don't want to fuck with you. Go fuck yourself. Pretty much. I don't give a fuck what people say. Um, it's not worth it. If you marry somebody who's not your friend, you're marrying a narcissist. Yeah, I don't deal with that. You know, you see it all. At some point, you see it all. You see how people behave with other people. You have to open your eyes to that reality, and guard yourself, guard your heart, guard your peace, you know, guard your well-being. And I think for me, that is why I am at this point in my life. My walls, they are very high, because I have seen things happen to women, and I have seen them, and I don't want them happening to me. I do not want. So yeah, I would not know if somebody came here. I would not know if they were my best friend or my worst enemy. I cannot tell that at first sight. I will watch them, observe them, watch them carefully, study them, see whether they are consistent. I would watch until the consistency just speaks for itself. I cannot know. I cannot know. Anybody can get fooled. I can even get fooled, you know. Uh, Telling me to jump into somebody, love at first sight, I think that is a good breeding ground for getting fooled. So I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. You could marry somebody who has a problem with gambling, or somebody who has a problem with keeping it together, or somebody who has a problem with women. You think it's love at first sight? Maybe it's just love bombing you. You never know. You never know. And because of that, I am okay being single. Because of how dangerous this thing called love and falling in love and whatever, because it's so dangerous and I've seen it backfire over 50% of the time, I'm okay being single. Mm. I'm not gonna fool myself. Like somehow I'm the lucky one. Hmm? Gotta be careful. You got to be careful. So live free, live free. Go out there, have fun, live free. Love yourself, prioritize your needs, protect your heart. The Bible says, above all things, guard your heart. Because from out of your heart, everything else will flow. It says that. Even God tells you, even the voice of God tells you, above everything else, guard your heart. Why would God tell you to guard your heart? Why would God, in His own wisdom, tell you to guard your heart? Because He knows there is wickedness out there. Because He knows there are wicked people out there. They're out to use you for your body, for your money, for your time, to exploit you. That's how that woman got married to somebody who exploited her for 20 years for free labor, and he got this big fat social security and she got nothing, and he's been using her all these years. The Bible tells you, above everything, guard your heart. As I tell you, guard your energy, guard your time, guard your money, guard your emotional health, guard everything. Have walls so high, yeah, the enemy cannot see you. Mm. Exactly, Walters. Mm. All these diseases out there. Out there. I'm not opening my legs for people. Me. Who? Me. No way. People People are spreading 10 diseases to you at a time. Herpes, gonorrhea, syphilis, and HIV in one blow. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes of pleasure. They've downloaded. They've downloaded evil into your system. Don't joke with people. They will do this deliberately to ruin your life. Ruin your life. Deliberate. One time I was listening to a woman from Kenya. She lived in a village in Kenya. And then she got HIV. And she knew that she got it from her husband. Obviously, she wasn't seeing anybody. And when she confronted him, she said that she did not let her, he knew he had HIV, and he gave her HIV because if he didn't give her HIV, she would leave him. So he knew that if he didn't spread that disease to his wife, she was going to leave him. So she decided, well, let's have it together. He made that decision to spread the illness to her so that she doesn't leave him. That's when I knew people can be extremely selfish. Hi, Danny. Dan wants to go. Love you, Dan. Thanks for showing up. That's when I knew that people can be extremely, extremely unhinged and selfish. Imagine somebody that is when you don't marry somebody who cares for you. They will go sleep around, bring diseases to you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. That's when I realized there's some sickness around here. Like human beings have a sickness. If somebody can decide to bring the worst kind of disease to their wife, who is the mother of their kids, they know they have HIV. They know they're giving you HIV. And the reason that they're doing it is because you don't leave them, so that they can control you and how you live your life. Careful. People are dangerous. Now, she has to spend the whole of her life knowing she could die, she could get sick, she has to take medication all her life to stay alive, because this man, the man she married, decided that was going to be the life. You tell me. You tell me. And all of you here, you keep asking me, are you married? Are you single? Are you married? Are you single? Are you married? You think I care so much to have that ring on my finger? You think I dream every day? I wake up, I sleep, I wake up, I eat and drink, and I'm like, oh my God, I need that ring on my finger. Who are you marrying? You could be marrying your worst enemy. The person who's going to do the worst things that anybody has ever done to you. That could be the person you're marrying. And you still want that ring on your finger? You still? It's better loneliness. It's better loneliness. It's better you wake up every day and you hug your pillow. You die alone anyway. You die alone anyway, and you only die once. Than to marry the devil, who's going to ruin the only life that you have. You die alone anyway. Alone. You die alone anyway. So don't ask me whether, are you single? Are you single? It's not a flex to be married. It's not. It's not. Unless you married your best friend, you know, unless you're somebody like Meghan Markle, who clearly loved somebody, who clearly is married to somebody who would throw away royalty for her. Unless now that's a flex. Okay, he's not running around on her, he's supporting her in business, he's helping her grow, you know. um, Unless, then that's a flex. But majority of people, they are not married to their friends, they're married to people who would do anything to them, bring diseases, they don't care. You ask me if I care for that ring on the finger? God console me. I am contented with what I have and what I don't have. Huh? I am happy. You have to be content in your circumstances, because if you're not happy being alone, you're the kind of person who will run into a relationship that might be very, very dangerous. You cannot be desperate. The Bible tells you, do not despair. Do not despair. Above all things, guard your heart. Do not despair. When you despair, that's when you run into trouble, into terrible, bad people. Because of despair. You cannot. You cannot. Me, I've seen it all. I have seen it all. I've heard men say unhinged things. You think people care about spreading diseases? They don't. Somebody knows they are infected with HIV, with gonorrhea, with syphilis. You know what majority of them say? I got it from somebody else. So they don't see a problem spreading to you because they got it from somebody else. Yeah, let me tell you. The religion shows you morality and shows you the way to go. But the decision really lies on somebody to take those teachings seriously. At the end of the day, you make the choice of what you want, of what you want to follow. So for me, the way I see it, like all these religious Bibles, Muslim, it's kind of like a suggestion. Do you want to take this path, or do you want to do your own thing? And majority of people, they decide to do their own thing. That's why you find that somebody will say they are a Christian, right? But they will they will lie to you at their convenience, right? They will cheat on their spouses at their convenience. I mean, we have Christians on the right, and they've been caught with child pornography. Exactly, you see what I mean? It's almost like a spectrum. Like, so that's why it doesn't matter to me whether you tell me you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're Buddhist, you're whatever. I don't care. At the end of the day is how you decide to control your life. Do you have any self-control? Do you have any moral compass? Do you have any conscience? At the end of the day, those things I don't know about other people. I only know them about myself. And the only thing that can tell me about other people is to see where they are standing on, like the decisions that they are standing on. You want to marry somebody in their 30s, because in their 30s you will see a rap sheet of their decisions and how they've made their decisions. In your 20s, people don't have a history. People just stop being under their mother's roof, and they are experimenting in their 20s. In their 30s, they will be standing on the decisions that they have made, and you will know the kind of person that you're dealing with. In their 30s, if they've been doing meth, they are missing teeth. you know, they are missing some teeth. You will know. In your 30s, if they've been sleeping around with everybody, you will see that decision reflected in their life. You will see it. You know, if they have not been educating themselves, you will see that decision. If they have not been eating well, you will see that decision. It is there for you to see. You can read the book now, you know, because we are all writing our books. You will be able to read the book. You will be able to read the book. Don't, whatever people say, they can say all day. Whatever I tell you, like what my path is, I can tell you all day. I can tell you, I can tell you. But can you see it for yourself? Can you look at me and see the decisions that I have made about myself? I like, if I tell you like I like to take good care of myself, when you look at me, can you see that? When you look at me, can you see that she looks like the kind of person who actually will prioritize her mind, her peace and well-being over a man? I tell you this, but can you see it? You know, because there are things that you can't lie about. I can tell you yap, but can you see it? Can you see it? At some point, you should be able to see people and the decisions they've made and the shoes that they're standing on. At some point, the book, we all write a book. Whatever the book comes out, we all write that book. So, yeah, I don't like stories. I can tell you stories all day. I can talk, you know? Somebody can tell you they love you all day. They're not faithful to you. They don't love you. They can talk about it. You know, they can say that they love you, but if they are defrauding you from your social security, they don't love you. They don't. They can say they love you all day, but if they're okay spreading diseases to you, they don't love you. Actions, behavior is what you should always look at. All this other nonsense is just guesswork. But actions, they will not lie to you. People are behavior. Behavior is what tells you the nature of a human being. Their behavior, their choices. I can tell you I eat healthy all day. You will see it. You will see it. You will see results. You know, there's diseases spreading around. You know, you can sleep around all you want and pretend you're a Christian, but you will catch something out in these streets. You will not lie to your doctor. You will have to come clean when you get the report. You know what I mean? In this life, there are consequences to our decisions and our actions. I don't like to mess that. I like to know. So it doesn't matter like what decisions, what I can say, but you will have to look at me and the decisions that I make, and then you figure out the kind of a person that I am. But most importantly, I say is that I look at myself and you look at yourself, because we individually, we are the most important person in our lives. You are the most person in your lives, and I'm the most important person in my life. So thank you, Manzara. Yeah. So in the end of the day, that's the end, you know, at the end of the day, we stand on the choices, the decisions, and our behaviors. That's what speaks more loudly than words. Actions. They do. They do. So people say they love you, look at their actions. People say they hate you, look at their actions. Some people say they hate you, but you look at their actions, and the action says, I'm dying. I cannot live without you. I love you. You know, actions, they speak louder. Actions speak louder than words. Contribute, contribute to the discussion. This is Post-Traumatic Bliss. We discuss all things mental health. If you have something to discuss about mental health, something you've learned about your mental health, you're welcome to share it here. You are welcome to share it here. There's a big problem, Manzara, if behavior is different from words. Because behavior is the truth. That's why you catch somebody in a lie. There is misalignment with what they're saying and their behavior. Is a big problem. I mean, I understand, Manzara, to be honest, I understand why people are not giving other people time, because people don't have time. At some point, you don't have time. You're out there having to mind your business. You know, people are out there minding their business. People don't have time to mind other people's business, because we don't have energy. People don't have energy to keep minding other people's business. And the reason why is most people, they kind of lack some type of wisdom to run their life. So they keep running into the same mistakes over and over and over again. And they don't have the insight to think that maybe they can change their behavior and they can have different outcomes. And so when you keep having a friend who keeps doing the same things over and over and over and repeating the same cycle of mistakes, are you going to have time for that person? You don't have time for that person. You move on. You move on. And then they're left wondering, oh, what did I do wrong? You figure it out. Because people don't want to have time to figure this out. That's when you go, you find yourself a counselor, you find yourself a guru, or you come to me and I tell you, go buy the class Post-Traumatic Bliss and figure that one out first so that people can have time for you. Walters, you're asking why women beat around the bush and don't tell you the problem is. Let me tell you, women don't beat around the bush. Women tell you what the problem is, but you keep ignoring it until they stop telling you what the problem is and they start making their exit strategy to leave you alone, because there is no point of being with somebody who does not listen to you. They told you the problem, you ignore, you ignore, you ignore, you ignore. You think you know everything, you ignore, you ignore, you ignore. She's like, I'm tired of talking to a brick, because this brick doesn't have ears, won't listen. It's a brick. She realizes she is in a relationship with a brick that does not have these ears won't listen. She tells you, do not do this, 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 do not do it. But it's a break. It doesn't even register from one ear to another. It's kind of like goes out, out, out. She gets tired. She gets tired. And then she leaves you, and then you say, it came out of nowhere. It did not come out of nowhere. If you know how to treat people with respect, with courtesy, with consciousness, you will know it did not come out of nowhere. It did not come out of nowhere. I had a friend of mine kept telling her boyfriend, stop texting other women. Stop it. Stop texting other women, she said, and stop watching porn because it will not work for her. She told him, it will not work for me. You know, if other people are involved in our sexuality and our sexual life in any way, whether it's porn, whether it's you texting other women, stuff like that, right? First time they break up. He promises it's not ever gonna happen again. But every time she sees his phone, the same behavior. They talk about it. He says he'll stop, the same behavior over and over and over. She decides it's over. And then he comes, he wants to propose to her. She fucking doesn't like it. This is pretentious. Now you think that you can cover all of your imperfections and your dirty ways with a ring. She rejects the ring and she ends the relationship. And he's like, it came out of nowhere. It did not come out of nowhere. You had bugs in your ear. You did not think that this was a serious thing. You ignored the level of seriousness of this issue that she had with you. And now you downplayed it. You thought it was not important. She kept telling you. She got fed up and she left. You cannot be my boyfriend, Edward. Get over that one. So I hope that explains to you, Manzara. I hope that tells you what it is. It's not that women don't beat around the bush. Women tell you is you don't listen. You don't think it's important. You just don't think it is important because you don't care to listen to a woman unless she's walking away. That's the problem. The only time that it hits your common sense is when she is walking out the door, when she is ending things with you. That's when it starts to hit you. Oh, that was important. Too little, too late. Too little, too late. Hi, Abdul. Nice to see you again, love. I'm well. No, Edward, get serious. Contribute to this discussion. If you want my attention, contribute to this mental health discussion in a fruitful way. Because look at me. I don't like cheap talk. You and we're going nowhere. You know it, I know it, I don't care. Let's move on. Let's move on. Exactly. Not everybody is emotionally intelligent and many have a problem with communication. I get it. That is why I have my course, online course, posttraumaticbliss.com. Okay? Go there, enroll in that mental health class, go through all the videos. They are done for you. They explain everything in mental health, from emotional intelligence to food that you need to eat, to your nervous system, to spirituality and how it plays a role in your life, to psychedelics, to so many other things you probably never heard. It explains everything. I do it for you. I do it I do it at a level, at a price point where anybody can afford. My class could easily cost you $4,500. Like all these other fake influencers that I see that are selling you courses that are worth so much money, and you will never get the head or tail of what they're talking about. I make it super simple so you have a solid foundation so that you never say nobody ever told you. I'm taking tea. Go to posttraumaticbliss.com. This is the way I'm saying this channel's name.com. You can learn a lot. So I want you guys to learn about the lymphatic system. Let's talk about, this is the new topic that I want to learn about, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the system that creates blood for you. White blood cells, red blood cells, lymphatic creates blood cells. And it also helps you with a lot of other things. So I'm not very good at the lymphatic system, so I'm reading about the lymph. A lot of cancers also start in the lymph, so this is a good system. Yeah, it also helps with the bones. This is a good, learning about the lymphatic system is good for your health. So anyways, keep learning, keep reading, keep learning about your health, your mental health, ways you can use herbs and plants as medicine. The bone marrow, yes, yep. Yeah. So if you have like a problem with the lymphatic system, it will reflect in your blood cells. Most likely, doctors check your blood to know what's going on with your health. If there's a problem with your lymph nodes, if there's cancer or anything, they look at your blood. So what's happening in your lymphatic system really affects those problems. They will be reflected in your blood. So it's good to understand your lymphatic system. A lot of us understand the nervous system, which I think everybody should understand the nervous system, the lymphatic system, the digestive system, the circulation system. We have all these systems that we need to understand, and so that we can make better health decisions. If you're not reading about health, you're not making the most of the decisions that you should be making in your life. That is why you always have to learn. You always have to have a good book that you're reading, whether it's about health, relationship, wealth. Self-help is a real thing. Self-help is real, but learn to read books about health, about relationships, about communication, about money. That is how you grow. Every book is self-help. Every book out here is self-help. I don't know why people think that the self-help industry is like, whatever. Every book you read is self-help. Like, why are you reading a book? If it's not gonna help you, why not toss it, burn it? We always read because self-help is the real thing. So let's do that. Let's learn together. So this is my thing today. I'm learning. You can learn about like this book has like herbs that you can use to help your nervous system, like ginger, garlic, fennel, milk thistle, mullein, ostro, oregano, turmeric, wild indigo, chickweed, all these things that we all need to learn with time. Just keep getting a book somewhere. Always have a book that you're reading. Like, always have a book that you're kind of like going through. advise you 100%, that habit made me become a pro in mental health, because I wanted to understand about the brain, the nervous system, behaviors, stuff like that. Um, really transformed my life. Yes, hibiscus flowers. I make hibiscus tea. I love the color, but hibiscus has a lot of benefits. I use it for my hair. Um, yeah, I make hibiscus water and I spray it on my hair. All these things. All these things. Relaxing your nervous system, your muscles. If you have anxiety, I tell people anxiety lives in the muscles. If you have anxiety, it's in your muscles. You want to relax your muscles, go to the spa, have a warm bath, relax your muscles, all these things. Soursop tea. Light Veil says soursop tea is nice. It's good to lower your blood pressure. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, like high blood pressure is associated with stress. Um, in the sense that it is stressing the body. When your heart is beating at a higher rate, it is stressing out the heart muscles, and also it could lead to a rupture in the blood cells, especially in the brain, that could cause a stroke because of the high pressure. Why is the heart beating at a high rate? The heart always beats at a high rate if there is a stress, if it's a stress response. So high blood pressure, meaning you are in survival mode and the body is acting as if it's in a stress response. You want to make sure that you're living your life in a way that doesn't add pressure to you. Like, you want to make choices that don't lead to adding more pressure into your life. And you always do what is good for your nervous system. If you have to choose between pleasing other people and pleasing your nervous system, choose your nervous system. System Zungu Natiko. I look forward to our future debates. Love that. Love that. Yeah, I mean, today we debated a little bit and then we agreed on so many things later after. In the end, we kind of found ourselves agreeing on a lot of things. Life is beautiful. I mean, when we have a sense of community, when we talk about things, when we talk about issues that affect us, we kind of form our own sense of community, our own sense of, friendships, the people that we want to be around. And I think that's important. Like, it's truly important in life to have that sense of community. And sense of safety, because it lowers your blood pressure. Anything that lowers your blood pressure is good. But there is also deliberate things. What people don't understand, even as much as I tell people to exercise and strengthen their body, exercise mimics the stress response in the body. So you don't want to exercise every day because you don't want your heart rate to be up all the time, because when your heart rate is up all the time, that's a stress response. So you want to make sure that if you're exercising, is probably when you need to get off the stress out of your body. Like, let's say you had a bad day at work. That's a good day to exercise, to kick off the stress hormones out of your system, because when you exercise, it's better to do, when you're stressed out, it's better to do something that mimics the stress response, like running, so that you kick off. you make sure that you get rid of the stress chemicals out of your blood system. But when you do it every day, 24/7 is not good, because you're putting your body at a higher state of stress, and you will make your body to behave like it's always in a stress response mode. You want those cycles of, okay, you're working, you're resting, you're working, you're resting. you know you want to stay constant in your energy. You don't want to be hyper all the time, because hyper means the body is operating at a high stress. You don't want your body to be here, like you're on high on. You know how people get high? It means that their body is here, is not working in balance. You always want to maintain your average. You want to be average, meaning like you want your body to be in a state where it's not too stressed out, and then it's not too depressed. It's there. That way you're managing the energy of your nervous system. You're not overworking yourself at work. You're not tiring your nervous system, so that you can go the distance, so that you can play the long-term game, especially, yeah, exactly, equilibrium. You want to go the distance. That is how people win, by consistency, by going the distance. Now, if you're always operating here and you're depleting your energy, guess what? It will dip. It will dip. It will go. It will be either high or zero. There is no consistency here, because when you go to zero, there you stop, right? So I've gone through burnout by overworking and overworking and overworking, and I realized I'm overworking to help these people in corporate America make more money, and then when I go to zero, these people will not be anywhere to be seen. It's true, they will not be anywhere to be seen. So who is losing? I'm the one losing out, because they want me to perform here to make them money. Because rich people always want to use poor people to do the job for them. And when I go to zero, they will just replace me, because I'm like a robot. I'm like a pawn in chess, which can be replaced. If you want to stop the rich from exploiting you in this society, stay at equilibrium. Okay? Manage your energy. Don't overwork yourself at work. Don't overwork yourself at home either. Be constant. That way you're green. You know how Arya Star says, steady green like broccoli. You want to be a steady green like broccoli in life if you want to go the distance. You don't want to overwork yourself. You don't want to be, yes, Elon Musk is good at telling people that they need to sleep like 2 hours a week. Of course, he'll tell you that. He's trying to exploit you. Why can't he tell you to disrupt your circadian rhythm so that he can exploit you? You're getting advice from Elon Musk? You'll be on ketamine. Don't do that. You need to, you have to put in effort in work. The body doesn't like to be depressed either, but it doesn't like to be exhausted and depleted either. Your nervous system is a system of energy, and I don't know, some of you guys have more energy than others. You just have to understand your energy, and how far is too far, and how low is too low. And then you have to understand the factors that are affecting your energy levels. Is it food? Is it maybe you're an extrovert that needs to be out with people to get more energy? Or are you an introvert that needs to manage their energy? Or do you need more sunlight? For me, I always know when I don't have enough sunlight, I start getting depressed. You need to know what is affecting your energy levels. Are you in a relationship that's depleting you, that you probably need to end? You have to understand energy. I always say, understand the energy. Like, I like people to be nice to me and talk to me nicely, because I don't want the energy to fight people. And it's not good use of my energy. You kind of have to know. But some people, they like the banter. They like the banter, and that works for them. Uh, okay, am I okay? What do you mean? If I'm not getting you, equilibrium, balance. We go back to equilibrium and balance. The nervous system, if the happy life honestly starts with balance and equilibrium, and this has been proven in science. If your body is not in balance, like let's say for example, you need to go to the bathroom, and you say, I'm going to hold, I'm not going to go to the bathroom, I'm going to hold. Guess what? Now your body is not in balance, because there is pressure in your bladder, and you probably need to go to the bathroom. It means your body is not in a state of balance. The more you continue to hold and not go to the bathroom, the more you will not focus on other things. The more you will not be able to type your email well without mistakes, because your body is out of balance. Your body wants you to go to the bathroom, but you keep holding it. You will start forgetting things. You will not be, you probably noticed that. Like until you're kind of dancing, like the body does not want to do anything else, because the body is in survival mode. It wants to get rid of toxic waste, and you are holding, so the body wants to retain back balance. Think about anything that kicks you out of balance, whether it's a negative relationship, whether it's a bad financial situation, whether it's somebody screaming at you at work. The body just wants to start from balance. And you always have to maintain that equilibrium, that balance every time, so that you're able to function from a state of well-being. Um, yeah, yes, exactly. I understand you completely. We're in the same page. Yeah, chronic stress is bad for you. Chronic stress is bad for you. You need a little dose of stress, but chronic stress is bad for you. Your heart rate cannot keep beating up 24/7 and think it's okay. You cannot be in a toxic relationship that keeps you feeling like you're walking on eggshells 24/7, 365 days a week, and think that you're going to come out there safe. That's a delusion. You cannot do that. Chronic stress is bad for you because of what stress does to the body. Stress will break down your body. It can lead to heart failure, because if your heart keeps pumping very high, it can lead to heart failure. It can lead to stroke if there's so much high blood pressure into the fine blood vessels in your brain. They could break and cause stroke. It can lead to high blood pressure if you're always on the edge. Chronic stress is not good for you. And a bad relationship can cause chronic stress. If you're always smoking like something like weed or sativa that is causing you to be high, it is causing chronic stress into your bloodstream, into your body. That will lead to stress. Like anything that keeps your heart beating at a high rate all the time will lead to chronic stress. And chronic stress is what is bad for you. Well, if I talk too much, you can leave the channel. Like, yeah. Am I broke? What business of yours is that? What's your business? Am I asking you for money? Well, you can disagree with Elon or whatever. I 100 don't like. He's not a sleep expert, and he should not tell people to overwork themselves for money. For me, coming from a mental health point of view, I 100% disagree with him. Elon Musk is not where he is because he works hard. He is where he is because the government gives him contracts and a lot of money to do what he wants. Please. He doesn't get all this because he worked so hard all his life. Nah. So for rich people to fool you that they have sleepless nights making money, they are just fooling you. If somebody is getting $1 billion in government contracts, tell me what you would do if you got like 20 billion in government contracts. I haven't even seen 2 cents in a government contract, so you know, these people just have influence. A lot of these rich people, they have influence. They know who knows who can sign what contract from the government. They know them, and you know, they have them sign those things, then they have a kickback and life continues. That's the world of the rich. You think they are working an 8 to 5? No, they're leveraging influence, and then they're telling you work 100 hours a week, you're going to get rich. Think he works? Yeah, I see him launching space programs, and I see them bursting in the air, and I see taxpayers' money up in flames all the time because he can get more money from the government and put it up in space and burst it into flames. You know, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. He has power, he has influence, he'll get more money from the taxpayers and he'll blow up them in space. That's what rich people do. And they wonder why you can't do that. He will take money from NASA programs so that the government can finance SpaceX, and he will blow everything up in space, and he will laugh at NASA scientists because he took funding away from them. It's called power, it's called influence. I don't know, I don't do picnics. I mean, they look cute, but it's not something that I do. Anyways, my loves, I think I talked a lot today. When Danny says I talk a lot, it's true, I talk a lot, but this is my channel. I'm allowed to talk a lot. Any whatever Elon Musk is launching next is going to go up in flames. I feel that's what he's been doing. Anyways, let's talk another day, maybe tomorrow. During the week is very hard for me because I'm working, and I wake up, I try to come on live before I go to work, but sometimes it's not always possible. When I've like during the week, I try to at least during the week to come on live like 3 times a week. Yes. So I love you. Take care. God bless you. May you be happy and live with a joyful heart. May you be healthy and live in a body that gives you energy. And may you be safe from all sorts of inner and outer harm. I love you. God bless you. Take care.